Hi everyone, I'm Arpita Tumbalam from Team Codezilla. I'm here today with a video which is all based on basic overview of ethical hacking. In this session, we shall not go in depth about hacking or tools. We shall just get a glimpse of terminologies and understand the difference between hacking and ethical hacking. When you say hacking, it means penetrating into a target system or a website. When you say ethical hacking, it means with prior permission. Now, let's jump into the contents we are going to learn from this session. And those would be brief introduction about ethical hacking. What does ethical hacking mean? What does term hacker mean? Types of hackers, steps included in performing a hack. Why do we need ethical hackers? As we know, it's information that is more powerful nowadays. So, we need a secure communication and safe storage of data. What skill you must acquire to become an ethical hacker, types of hacking, advantages and disadvantages of ethical hacking, and on the whole, conclusion of points discussed. Now, let us get a brief introduction about ethical hacking. Ethical hacking, also known as penetration testing or white hat hacking, involves the same tools, tricks, and techniques that hackers use, but with one major difference that ethical hacking is legal. Ethical hacking is performed with target's permission. The intent of ethical hacking is to discover vulnerabilities from a hacker's viewpoint so systems can be secured. It's part of an overall information risk management that program allows for ongoing security improvements. It's obvious that you don't want others to access your Instagram or Snapchat. So what is ethical hacking in general? Now let us see that. Ethical hacking is defined as a methodology adopted by ethical hackers to discover the vulnerabilities existing in information systems operating environments. With the growth of internet, computer security has become a major concern for business and governments. In the search for a way to approach the problem, organizations came to realize that one of the best ways to evaluate the intruder threat to their interest would be to have independent computer security professionals attempt to break into their computer systems. Now, let us see what is a hacker and what they do. A hacker can be defined as a clever programmer, someone with their technical knowledge who uses bugs or exploits to break into computer systems. When you gain an unauthorized access, you become a malicious hacker. When you're good, when you're on good side with permission to gain access through penetration testing, you become an ethical hacker. Ethical hacker is a security personnel who tries to penetrate into a network to find if there is some vulnerability in the system. He'll first find out what an intruder can see or what others can see. Finding these, an ethical hacker will try to get into the system with that information in whatever method he can. If he succeeds in penetrating into the system, then he'll report to the company with a detailed report about the particular vulnerability exploiting which he got into the system. In the next slide, let us see what are the different types of hackers. Based on their intent, hackers are mainly classified into three types, and those are black hat hacker, white hat hacker, and gray hat hacker. Black hat hackers use their knowledge and skills for their own personal gains. They gain unauthorized access to systems or accounts, while white hat hackers are those individuals professing hacker skills and using them for defensive purposes. A company requires white hat hacker to keep their data safe and use the data safe and give a reliable service. Lastly, coming to grey hat hackers. These are individuals who work both offensively and defensively at various times. We cannot predict the behavior. Sometimes they use the skills for common good, while in some other times he uses them for their own personal gains. So, there are mainly 5 steps in hacking process like requirements, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing tracks. Requirements. The literal meaning of the word requirements means a preliminary survey to gain information. This is also known as footprinting. This is the first and foremost stage in the methodology of hacking. It's just like whatever public information you can gather, such as IP addresses, proxies, operating system information, port numbers. You can often get them on websites like showdown.io. Secondly, let us come to scanning. Scanning is the second phase in a hacking methodology, in which the hacker tries to make a blueprint of the target network. It is similar to a thief going through your neighborhood and checking every door and window on each house to see which ones are open and which ones are locked. The blueprint includes the IP address of the target network which are live, the services which are running on those systems, and so on. Usually, the services run on predetermined ports. There are different tools used for scanning, such as Nmap or Wireshark. Gaining access. This is the actual phase in which the hacker gains access to the system. The hacker will use all of the information he collected in the previous hacking phases. Usually, the main obstacle for gaining access to a system is the passwords. Once he gets into the system, the next thing he wants will be to increase his privileges so that he can have more control over the system. Fourthly, maintaining access. Now, the hacker is inside the system by some means or by guessing the passwords or exploiting some of its vulnerabilities. This means that he is now in a position to upload some files and download some of them. The next aim will be to make an easier path to get in when he comes the next time. The last step would be clearing tracks. Now we come to the final step in the hacking. There is a saying that everybody knows a good hacker, but nobody knows a great hacker. This means that a good hacker can always clear tracks or any record that he may be present in the network to prove that he was here. When a hacker downloads some files or installs some softwares, its log will be stored in the server logs. So, in order to erase those, the hacker uses man tools. Next, let us know what exactly is ethical hacking and why do we need it the most. Computer security is required because most organizations can be damaged by hostile software or intruders. There may be several forms of damage which are obviously interrelated and which are produced by the intruders. These include loss of confidential data, damage or destruction of data, damage or destruction of computer system, loss of reputation of a company. So, to make systems secure, we need ethical hackers. Next, let us go to an important part. What are the required skills of an ethical hacker? Microsoft. Skills in operation, configuration, and management. Linux. Knowledge of Linux, Unix, security setting, configuration, and services. Firewalls. Configurations and operation of industrial intrusion detection system. Routers. Knowledge of routers, routing protocols, and access control lists. Network protocols. TCP/IP. How they function and how they can be manipulated. Project management, leading, planning, organizing, and controlling a penetration testing team. Linux is an operating system which has lots of penetrating testing tools that can be used to test the system security. So, mainly, operating system knowledge, networking, and programming skills are must for an ethical hacker. Now, let us learn few types of hacks. A man in the middle attack, which is also known as MITM, is an attack where the attacker secretly relays and possibly alters the communication between two parties who believe that they are directly communicating with each other. Next is phishing. Phishing is a type of social engineering attack often used to steal user data, including login credentials and credit card numbers. It occurs when an attacker dupes a victim into opening an email, instant message, or text message. Creating a fake login page which looks similar to the actual website but hosted by an attacker, and the credentials eventually go to him. And a distributed denial of service, which is also known as DDoS, is another type of attack. This is a malicious attempt to disrupt normal traffic of a targeted service or a network by overwhelming the target or its surrounding infrastructure with flood of internet traffic. The possible example for this is buffer overflow. In simple words, you can say that when you send loads and loads of data, that server cannot handle it and it eventually overflows and pops out some of the packets. These packets are captured by the intruder. Another type of attack would be a password attack. A password attack is exactly what it sounds like. A third party trying to gain access to your system by cracking a user's password. Types of password attack are dictionary attack and brute force attack. Now, next, let us see the main advantages of ethical hacking. To catch a thief, you'll have to think like a thief. So, by learning ethical hacking, we'll be able to crack we will be able to crack or know the people who generally hack the systems for their own personal gains. It also helps in closing the holes in the system network. It provides security to banking and financial establishments. It prevents website defacements. It is also an evolving technique. An ethical hacker in these days is paid in huge amounts. Now, let us know the disadvantages of ethical hacking. It all depends on the trustworthiness of the hacker. If the ethical hacker is not trustworthy, even after the certification, he can use the information for his own professional gain. As we know, hiring professionals is expensive, and we know that hiring an ethical hacker is very, very expensive. Now, let us come to the conclusion. One of the main aim of this video is to make others understand that there are many ways through which a hacker can get into a system. There are many reasons for everybody should understand about these basics. For example, a student, a professor, a business employee, and all the general users. It's like a highly secured building with all the doors open carelessly by the insiders. So, users must also be aware of such possibilities of hacking so that they could be more cautious in their activities. Before closing, let's learn how to be safe on internet. Firstly, download software from authorized websites. Do not click on random email attachments. Scan all the type of hardwares before running. Do not use easy passwords. And lastly, but more importantly, never store or share your login information. Thank you. So yeah, finally, to know more details about our club, please log on to our page. And for some more details, please contact the links mentioned below. Thank you.